Welcome back to REPO, Rethink Politics, where we get back into teachers, Mueller, and a couple of the EPA ridiculous stuff going on. Stay tuned. So, what's happening with the teachers is just outrageous. Mm-hmm. And the fact that these Midwestern, Kentucky, Oklahoma, and these Midwestern states are the ones that's protesting, that tells me one thing: the education level and why they voted for Trump. But to your point, Chaz, if you're only making that kind of money and you want to be a teacher, you can teach somewhere else for a lot more money because it's available. And it's just odd because even though we have, broke schools here in Atlanta and different places, I don't hear a lot about the pay scale though.
If you gonna make low money, make it. If I'm not gonna make the money, it's gonna be because of racism, or
murder.
Something is gonna stop me from, otherwise I'm like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. In fact, if I make more money, I'll fly back and see y'all broke asses, but I'm not gonna stay in the area just because of quote unquote friends and family. Like, people leave all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Quick.
All right, okay.
Did you hear anything like that, E, when you was in Virginia?
No, I mean, it's the same everywhere. It's just like the pay just isn't good for teachers. It's the same as police. It's just
two important jobs. One is kids, and
is murder.
One is law enforcement. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that I know that teachers, they're teaching your kids. It's education in the country. It's I hate to put it like this, but like teachers are just wired differently, where it's not about money. They just want to teach, and it's almost like we're taking advantage of that. By we, I'm talking like as a country, you got people accepting the fact that well, fuck it, if they're not complaining, then we'll pay them 5 cents an hour or whatever. We'll give them some shitty ass chairs, some books from the 70s teaching about history or some shit. It's just I think it's exciting actually that they're protesting now, because you don't get a lot of that, man. Like they're not like teachers are just they're just like, it's all about the kids, and it's just like, hell yeah, it is, but it's you got these politicians that just
disregard them. I think they're just being disregarded. Like, that's your job. Yeah. That's what you signed up for. So you should be able to just do your job. And, because we saw that it was funny. There was a guy that was shooting at the cops. I'm switching. I'm using the police analogy. Mm-hmm. We saw on the news they were shooting at the cops, and the little girls and his wife was in there, and they didn't kill him. And the first thing, being black in my mind is, oh, so they didn't kill him? That's pretty fucked up. Why? He was actually shooting at them. But then it came to me and it was like, guess what? All cops aren't killers. Some try to do the right thing. So don't assume that they're just going to kill people because this guy was Hispanic. They didn't want to kill him, but they captured him. He was fine. And then there was another one with a white man with a hammer, and they shot the hell out of his ass. But
I saw that. Okay, that's the one I saw.
But
they were tasing him, right?
Yeah, they was tasing him, and the guy said 90% of the times the taser don't work. So why the taser work when it's on black people? But
like the fuck?
It's like the taser don't fucking work.
Wow, so he was talking shit. Oh wow.
But it came to the point of saying, you know what? We see so much on the media that cops just shoot first. That they were shooting to get at him, but when they had the opportunity to be like, oh, he's got a gun, I'm gonna blow him, they said get on the ground. And when he got on the ground, it was fine. And I was like, all cops don't just shoot to kill. That's just the wrong thing to do. Mm-hmm. And all of them don't do the wrong thing. And I think the teachers are always in a bad situation because a lot of them go in there to do the right thing, but they're never acknowledged or supported. Or awarded in a sense. You know what I mean?
Obama was doing that though. I mean, he was focusing on education and getting the right people in charge of the education system, and it just went completely backwards.
Yeah, it's that's a tough one. I would again, if I was president, I'm not sure how I would attack education. Like one idea I heard was, I think we talked about this before, was just to say, you know what, you eliminate public schools as a concept, and you take all the money that you would spend on public schools and say everything's going to be private, and we'll just do audits or whatever, and the money that you spend per student from a taxpayer perspective, you just get a voucher for a private school or something.
So that's what the current cabinet member, the secretary of...
Yeah, but she's dumb, so she doesn't really get it.
But that's what she's saying, though. So she don't have to get it, but if she's saying the same thing you are, she's going to always say, no, but that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, God, but it's totally different context.
I got what you're saying because I thought the same way. I was like, look, the private sector can do great education as long as we audit them to say, these are what is required. Let me make sure you're doing it properly. And ensure, just like the FDA, when they come in there and be like, look, man, y'all got roaches up in this bitch. You're rated us a F. We could close your bitches down until you get it right. Mm-hmm. Because we're paying you to do this. Mm-hmm.
Why
and it's regulated.
Why even privatize? So, yeah, I'm a little off. I'm new a little bit to a lot of this education stuff. So I never understood the idea of having to privatize. Why can't we just do better with what we have and just build off of that?
Well, I'm not an expert, but the antiquated system, and this is part of the fight too, the teachers are unionized. So the unions say what they can and can't do and what certain teachers can, and they're fighting against the whole systems per state. And all of them, I keep saying, if we didn't have these unions interfering, we would have better schools. Or once we privatize and the teachers union can't tell us what to do, it'll be better schooling. So a lot of private schools are really, they're pretty good. But there's a lot of schools that are good that's public. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just that they're financed a lot better. Especially if you in a decent neighborhood that pays taxes, that goes into
high property taxes especially
really do well with their schools, which I live in, and it's that's where I wanted my house at, in an area that the taxes are well, and people are going to want to move into this area because it has the best school districts. Yeah, so
I know all about that.
I don't know if I answered you, E, but it's just it's a mixture of so much, and I'm not a big advocate of privatizing, but I've seen private schools be a lot more successful.
I think I'll try to take a stab at it. Government. So like when you walk into a government building, and I want to be careful when I say this because I don't want to generalize, but in terms of workers, there's a lack of exceptionalism. there's like an air of mediocrity. In some places, and
because of pay, right? That's what I would think.
Well, and again, so that's kind of like the argument. Mm-hmm. So if you have better pay, but sometimes, I don't know. So I don't know if it's pay. I don't know if it's just lack of consequence. Because going back to the earlier thing of if there's no penalty, why would you change behavior?
Quality.
So in terms of people working in government positions, usually there's just there's politics, there's this, there's that. When the private sector is like, look, you got do the work, or get the fuck out of here. If you work at some fast food place, you can't be like, well, just some horse shit. And like government lacks metrics just because of the nature of government. There's no profit motive that private companies have. It's your metric is, hey, how many IDs can we get done in an hour? How many people, for the DMV or blah, blah, blah. But, it's kind of like if you're the tax, for the tax assessor, do you really have a metric? Or is it just, if you come to the office for your taxes or the tax people. Like, so I think if you privatize the schools, what you can do is develop some sort of metric to say, okay, we can do something against this, and again, that's that makes sense, and just say, look, here's how much we spend per student publicly. Let's let you do this from a private perspective. And because, again, in public schools, there's government, there's going to be rules on what you can spend the money on, blah, blah, blah. You'll be audited. You'll be this. I'll probably go as far as to say, it'll be private, but any purchase over $100 or $200, it'll be posted online in the school website or something like that. And just, attack from that perspective so that people can have more room to innovate, something. But I would just do it from that way so that you can say, look, from a talent perspective, we can win on that way. Because in public schools, it's like, what's the difference between a good principal and a bad principal? Will they have the same career prospects? It can be very arbitrary in any government position in terms of what's a good worker versus a bad worker.
So interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I'm looking at all cabinet positions, and this popped up on here. I'm not sure if you saw that, but they suspended the Cambridge Analytica CEO when this first came out. And now the acting CEO was like, I'm out of here. So he fucking stepped down too. So there's more going on that's probably going to cut in, or he's like, I'm not taking the hit for somebody else. So these people are back to the private sector. That's why I kind of saw it popped up on my feed. And it was like, sometimes when you give it to the private sector, shit like this happen, and they start, taking advantage or using the money in a fucked up way. But I think you said it right. If you have someone that's, auditing how they're spending the money and kind of putting it across the board that everyone will have this, and how do we get the funds to ensure that every area gets the same thing, it'll be better off. But you got these private sectors is just taking advantage of a situation because of, and I'm going to keep saying it, technology. They're going to take advantage of it. If you put computers in school, you're going to have access to children's data, which is associated to their parents, and then they can have that data as well. You can be able to get a lot of that. Right.
Yeah, I look at that more as it goes back to setting restrictions, and not restrictions, are like regulations. This is something where honestly the government needs to step in, and honestly they just need to create some laws that just prevent this, and there should be fines, there should be jail, there should be actual consequences for doing things that take advantage of those that
citizens,
vulnerable
consumers.
Yeah. So whether it's the private sector take advantaging of someone's personal information, whether it's the private sector and the education, or even in banking. There should, like, if you're in this country, you got to pay the price whenever you're doing this kind of thing. And the more sensitive the information, the more vital the information, especially things like personal information, education, policing, banking, financial. There should be restrictions no matter what. And to go back to the whole data breaches and everything going on in technology in this country, it's just baffling why we don't even have anything that's really stopping people from taking your data. Why are there data breaches from fucking Orbitz, taking 10 million people's information, and Orbitz is still, making millions of dollars. It's like, shouldn't they be getting fined like $1 billion?
But I'm saying, that's what are the guidelines? So if you do forensics for a breach, would you blame a vendor? Was there a patch missing? Because obviously, if for Windows, if there's a vulnerability and Orbitz gets hit, what's Microsoft's response to that? They're going to be like, are they on the line? Like, how would you formulate the penalties?
Step your shit up. I mean, like, it's, all right. That's like being like, all right. Well, I mean, if somebody come in and they steal all my money in my bank, then it's like, so, like, what's up with ADT? Like, they supposed to have their security system, and it's just kind of like, well, you need to step your shit up then, because everybody's bank's gonna get stolen. Everybody's personal information is gonna get stolen. So people need to, take this shit seriously. Because right now,
you do remember that
little kids' information getting taken.
You remember when H&R Block they got breached back in 2002.
Everybody got breached,
and I'm like,
and it's late too, man. It's like stories. It's like 50 million people got this shit stolen in 2012.
Like, what the fuck?
Are you kidding me? And it's like, well, shit.
Yeah,
I got a kid now. Like, what the fuck? Like,
you got a kid in middle school. What the fuck's going on?
Tell me this.
So it's which is crazy. But you made a good point of where's the penalties on it? All of this. If we keep hearing this going on and on and on, and we're not regulating him, but what the Republicans want is no regulation. Because they kind of like, hey, let them police themselves.
Yeah, but they're dumb. They do, though.
Government overreach.
Yeah. Yeah, they do, though. I mean, they want immigration. Republicans, I find them to be weird, man. Because they want shit. They want regulation they want. Yeah, I never understand how you want to regulate gay marriage and abortions.
Yeah,
but don't want to regulate financial markets.
Because they're old school. It's tradition. You know what I mean? Like, they're traditionalists. They don't catch up with the time. That's why like a lot of them are racist. Man. They don't think we understand.
It's the good old days.
Catch the fuck up. Like there's a black dude right now, like breaching, hacking into your shit right now as we speak. Like I'm just saying, it's a whole nother world, man. They need to catch up. This is
yeah. You're right. But you were saying like banks and all of these people, but what about the EPA secretary who made the decision that, I'm going to take some lobbyist apartment for about $50 a night, and I'm going to chill there in Washington, D.C. And if you saw John Oliver, they said the only thing you can get less than $50 is a black couch. And that's all you can get. Yeah. But he was getting a $50 apartment. And I'm like, and this guy's kind of like, what are you talking about?
Lobbyist.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I don't see where the problem is. This is they looked into it and they didn't see I was doing anything wrong. And and he's continuing. Even Fox was like, "Are you kidding me?" And they was questioning him, and he was like, "Whoa, what the fuck? You're not supposed to be talking to me like that."
Yeah. And apparently he got a soundproof booth installed into his office.
Yeah, that's like, look, unless you're a rapper or a singer, like you about to drop an album, what the fuck you doing with the soundproof booth?
You got fucking Timberland in that motherfucker.
Now I will say this though. I will say this though. The motherfucker does come out with a mixtape. I'll be like, all right, I don't know. I'm gonna lose. Yeah,
me too.
I doubt
DJ
it.
Khaled,
DJ Khaled. Yeah, DJ Khaled. All I do is EPA.
It's fucking soundproof. Come on now. For the EPA though, for the EPA, I'm like,
what is he doing in there?
No.
I'm gonna research this shit. That's probably some weird shit.
From what I remember, right? So it was that he got some kind of like finger scanner, like a high level military grade like finger scanner kind of thing, in order to get inside his office, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he was extremely like paranoid for some reason, because people want to hack the EPA to understand our environment. Like what? That didn't make any sense. So then he bought like a huge table that like mimics like a presidential kind of table, like a desk. I mean, you know what I mean? Like just expensive, kind of like what Homeboy did at HUD.
It's just
Ben Carson. Yeah, I don't know how much
my wife ordered it. That wasn't me. That was my wife.
It's like And who is approving these purchases? Like, in the office, when you want something, you got to go to like a general, like the office manager to order shit. Hey, can I get the? It's like,
he
no,
does.
get the fuck out of here.
Because apparently what he was doing is if you disagreed with him, or or you just countered what he was or what he said, and then you end up either getting fired, like immediately after, or you get demoted. And they were noticing a trend because it started happening on the higher level EPA officials, and then that's when they noticed a trend. And they were like, "Wait a minute, this dude is actually an asshole." Yeah, yeah. So it's just like, yeah, give me my soundproof
so he's on that bullshit.
2020 soundproof, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, you don't want to give it to me? All right, you fine."
See, perfect example. So let's go back to Paul Ryan. So imagine you're working at the EPA, and he's like, "This motherfucker in a soundproof booth. Like, what's gonna happen when this shit? What's gonna happen when this shit leaks out to the paper? Like, hey, look, I heard this motherfucker's about to get a finger scanner.
They're giving him a jet. Can you believe it?
This motherfucker's getting a jet.
Oh, he had a security detail.
Yeah,
too, by the way.
when he's on vacation.
Yes.
Yeah. Like a deep one, like a presidential level.
Oh, and then he gave a raise. Did you see that? He gave a raise to two of his favorite employees and bypassing everybody and just giving them a raise. And he was like, I wasn't aware of that.
So that's what I'm saying. So just imagine you working you get a phone call from your people at the EPA, like, hey, bro, I'm trying to job hunt. You know anything? Like, what's going on? Hey, you ain't hearing this from me, And then all of a sudden, that same dude gets on TV. It's just a great opportunity. I'm gonna resign. It's like, no, there's some bullshit going on. And then when it comes out, you're like, that's why Steve left. Okay, I was wondering. I thought he had a great position.
So all of it is like, we'll see full circle come, because all of this shit is
so
just
absurd. It's you know what? So
it is
unrelated, like sports news. I know you heard about the Tristan Thompson story of and again, I know SZA made the song like The Weeknd, like, and I think technically it was The Weeknd. I don't know, so I'm just throwing that out there. But Tristan Thompson is like 8 feet tall, big dude out in public, dating a reality star in what's her name?
Kardashian.
Kardashian. Yeah, and it's kind of like. Yeah, and it's some, it has been floated that is, with the new season kicking off, is for content, ratings and all that. I won't disagree with that, because why would you be out in public like that if you're, you're playing with LeBron James, the Cavaliers, so you're already going to be in the spotlight, and you're dating a Kardashian.
It sucks.
It's kind of like, so it's kind of like for the same thing with the EPA guy. If you're doing shit so outlandish, it's like, why would you do that? Like, you're gonna get caught up. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's an asshole.
Like, it's just so dumb.
It's just, it's just some people are assholes, and it's just
but be a smart asshole.
That's an oxymoron.
I don't think so. And again, maybe you have to leave it to the professionals. You know what I'm saying? I think you can be
again. Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I think Trump's a smart asshole. I actually think that. Like, he knows what he's doing, but he's just a fucking asshole. But he has no heart. But
I don't think he's smart.
Think so. I think this is beyond troll. Yeah, I think he's at one. You can say he was trolling at one point. But like, okay, so you basically you're arguing he's like a Borat. He's playing this character, and he's just like fucking with us. But
no, I don't even think he's fucking with us. I think he's actually an asshole. But I think he also knows how to sway opinions.
What's the definition of an asshole? I think maybe that's the disconnect.
Gives no fucks. Just
he gives no fucks in reference of shit that you should be giving a fuck about. Because, an asshole is kind of like, you know what? I'm doing this because, you know what? I'm the best motherfucker out there. And I'm going to show you that I'm the best. He's just doing it because he's fucking ignorant. And someone allowed him to do it.
Yeah, that's the same thing to me. If you're ignorant, I mean, okay. Ignorant doesn't make you smart. You're right. All right.
Yeah, that's stupid. That means you know what's right, but you decide to make a decision that you ain't gonna.
Well, hold on. there's smart people that are ignorant. You know,
Yeah,
there's
that's
common
true.
sense.
I
You know,
agree.
some people don't have street smarts. You know, they don't understand what the fuck's happening on the corner.
Look, we're not gonna go down this rabbit hole. He's not fucking
Take the blue
smart.
pill.
He's like, look, you know, that motherfucker is just. He's
I think
just
he's
fucked
an
up.
asshole, dog. Yeah, he's
He's
just fucked up. He's
just fucked up.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's leave it at that. He's
All right.
just fucked up.
You know-
right. No,
no,
smart
no.
is always considered like a compliment. So I understand what you mean. I'm not trying to compliment.
Look, 50 Cent is a professional asshole. He talks shit on social media all the time.
Yeah.
He's a douche, but he's 50.
Bruh,
you know, he can navigate. He's in movies now. He's doing like production and shit. He has a show, Power, of course. So he's smart.
You're explaining Trump. Everything you just said, that's Trump. Apprentice, Twitter. Like he's saying, he's on radio shows talking shit, Fox News. Like,
Damn,
I mean,
dude.
he's the same shit. He's the same
But he's not
fucking
the.
asshole.
But he's not the president, though.
That's what I'm saying. He fucking made it, bro. Like it's like what Chris Rock said. Like sometimes, you know, these assholes, they never get what's coming to them because they just keep sneaking through. I don't know the system. I don't get it. I don't know if y'all saw that Chris Rock Netflix thing. It was all right. It was
Actually,
okay.
I saw it live.
Oh, word.
When he did it live, he did the material better when he was in Atlanta. So what you saw was not the full
It wasn't that
power.
great. So that's
No, it was not. But yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I didn't
note
mean to get
that
off there.
I'm not sure what Netflix thought, but yeah, he had an off night.
All right. Yeah, because
Or the material was old at that point, and whenever the new special comes out is really when he's going to kill it. But as of May 2017, he was good.
yeah, right. So then he just isn't a good actor if he's just going off a script and then
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So
Yeah.
I want to talk
So
about.
yeah. So yeah, all right. So fuck it. He's not an
just-
asshole.
He's
I mean,
an
he
asshole.
is an asshole, but
But he's fucked
we don't
up.
care if he's smart.
Let's
or
not label him any more than
Yeah.
that. An asshole is fucked up.
Yeah.
Let's put no sense of
Yeah.
intelligence or anything part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because it could go anyway.
Yeah. He's just not a good dude. All right, gotcha.
So the Mueller investigation. No, Michael Cohen. The Michael Cohen raid of his apartment and office. So
Yeah.
Trump's
personal lawyer.
Yeah.
They were going to fix her, right? They were going after, allegedly, information regarding the Stormy Daniels investigation.
I thought it was the payments. They were trying to find out something.
Yeah, it was the payments, but it was like something fraud with the contribution frauds and things in reference of doing the political time. So that's what they really was going after, not just Stormy Daniel. And it was that. And what made it fucked up was Mueller tipped them off.
Yeah.
Because he was like, hey, y'all, by the way, look what I found when I was checking
and they
out
were
the
like,
place. Now, I can't go in there. Yeah, he's like, I can't go in there. But
Yeah,
you
but
can
y'all
go
saw
in
the
there.
little Daily Show. I think Seth Meyers, he had a little joke about it.
Nah.
I think, like, remember he threw his Trump was on a plane. I was like, were you aware of the payments Michael Cohen made? It was like, no. You got to ask my lawyer.
Yeah.
Why do you think he did it? If it was, if Stormy Daniels is lying, and if you're not aware of that payment, why did he make that payment to silence her for the NDA? He's like, oh, you got to ask Michael Cohen. I don't know, blah blah blah. And then there's like, oh, let's rate. And then they rated fucking Michael
put his
Cohen's
lawyer
office
on
on Monday.
blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put his lawyer on blast. It's like, I don't know. So
I don't know.
just
You
put the
talk
lawyer
to
out
his
there.
ass.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did
then
that shit, then now he's out of
and
it.
then the lawyer gets raided. And then Trump's on Twitter talking shit. It's
Yeah.
like, bro, you just said you were aware, so
You just said go to
yeah.
him.
So, and again,
fucked up.
I talked about this last time. I was so curious
Yeah, asshole.
that this subject. Well, no.
He's
I was
stupid ass.
I was so curious that the Stormy Daniels subject was the one that's, it's so. And again, and just to give context, in the Trump White House stories, the turnover rate for news stories is just so high because new subjects continue to happen. Stormy Daniels has been persistent for about 2 months now, right? 60 has it been 60 days?
Yeah, pretty
2018,
much.
yeah.
And Michael Flynn, well, that's been covered, but Manafort, this has had sticking power, and I'm like, oh,
It has
I'm
legs.
like, oh shit, is this is this it? And again, Paul Ryan, 2 days after the fucking raid, he decides to be like, family.
Yeah.
You know, and again, maybe it's to run for president before the 2018, whatever. So you can prepare for 2020, but
it's
just a lot of shit going down right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then he's trying to. I think there was a report coming out that he wanted to fire Mueller back in December. Yeah, but he can't fire him directly. And so, since Jeff Sessions recused himself from the Russian,
it's Rosenstein.
Yeah, now it's Rosenstein, the deputy. So Trump has to get him, Rosenstein, the deputy attorney general. Mm-hmm. He has to get him to fire Mueller, and in order to do that, Rosenstein has to agree with Trump. So it's if somehow Mueller if he tries to fire him, just the attempt to do it would be considered collusion because he's trying to disrupt the case that they have. That by itself. That's why they're saying it's suicide, political suicide for him to do that.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's not likely, but this guy's, he's so intelligent, but is an asshole. No, he's smart. We didn't say intelligent. He's smart that you never know what the fuck he's going to do because he can't get advised by his lawyer because his lawyer is pretty much under house arrest. So you can take all of that into consideration too. So
yeah. So he's gonna. So I think the next story is gonna be him trying to fire Rosenstein. Rosenstein, and then see how far that goes. But then it becomes too obvious. I feel like so. Yeah, maybe he is stupid enough to do that.
But there was another guy too that he said he didn't sign off on it. He basically said something and said he reclused himself from signing off on the raid. But there was a couple of other people. He was a Trump an appointee, and he reclused himself and it's like, look, I'm not gonna say sign off on this. I'm gonna pass it along to someone else. And they said, bet that, go for it. So he wanted it on the record that it wasn't me, even though, and I think he did that for Trump to let him know, look, I'm gonna stand in front of everybody and say I'm still on your side. So
yeah, I'm trying. Maybe it's one of his security advisors or something.
Yeah, and it was weird because, again, this was like, why would they do that? And then it was like he can't say anything because his attorney-client privilege. And then all of the lawyers came on TV and said, what they failing to understand is it's not for everything. If he's actually holding on to illegal activity, that is open for questioning. And to me, I think Mueller wanted everything taken so he can be like, hey, did you find that shit that I was looking for? And they're like, here you go right there. Yeah. So, if you want to think collusion, this is the perfect opportunity of collusion with Mueller and the FBI saying, let me get as much evidence from the lawyer so you can have a little here and I can have a little here as well.
You think they found something like as soon as the raid happened and then Paul Ryan has his connections and was like,
I'm gonna say, hey, look, this is what they got. This is the road that they're going down. And it's not going to be like next month shit's going to happen. They're going to take the investigation to find out how legitimate it is, how well it'll hold up in court. They're doing all of that, and that'll take weeks, maybe months. But by then, Ryan is on the back end saying, look, I don't think I'm going to be part of this because I'm not running. So why don't you wait until I'm out because I'm not going to be involved in that. So his name won't be part of, maybe that's what he doesn't want. Just thought about that. Maybe the impeachment, he doesn't want his name associated to that.
Yeah, he feels that process coming. Or maybe he feels it all the way, like it's a lose-lose. It's like if the Democrats win, they're obviously going to do it, which is looking more and more likely, and just in terms of the numbers. And then he already knows the story's coming out, so it's like eventually shit is gonna. I just think I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but I know the impeachment process. I think it's going to go down either way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's just going to get.
And he's such an asshole that he would just say, "Look, I'm tired of this scrutiny. I quit." I think he's that guy that will quit. Yeah, I think he's the guy that will quit because he's an asshole. And so, look, I'm going to prove to y'all can't touch me. And I'm going to tell the public I stepped down because they forced me.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. I have a different definition of asshole.
Yeah, we fun.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I just don't think you quit if you're an asshole. You stay on and say fuck everybody if you're an asshole. That's
yeah. Maybe,
no, but he's a douche. Yeah. It's like, I don't, you know, this shit has run its course.
Yeah, just run its course. I'm waiting for the new one, and I can't fuck nobody while I'm the president, so I'm really pissed off.
Well, she divorcing him soon as he's done with this shit. That shit over.
She would divorce him. She would be doing that shit now. It's still
no. He's saying afterwards. So as of right now, there's no benefit because the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? She's better off getting that book deal and going on her book tour, talking with Oprah.
No, you gotta wait.
No. It's better to wait. How did you feel during the impeachment process? Like, write this shit out. Write that shit out. Then talk to Oprah.
Yeah. Sit down with Michelle Obama on some random shit.
That's cool as fuck.
I know.
I don't want to be in the room with that bitch.
You know what? I would tell them no. Michelle Obama one-on-one with Melania. Yeah. What? Click.
They were saying behind the scenes that she actually really likes Michelle Obama.
Yeah, who doesn't? I was a racist white men, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was reading some shit. The one article raised my. I was like, what the fuck? So it was saying Trump was upset about people leaving, like Hope Hicks, all that. Rob Porter being forced to resign because of the domestic violence. But this article claimed that Melania was upset because some 26-year-old dude had to leave the White House. Did y'all hear about this?
No. This is one of the has some shit on the low kind of going on?
Could be.
What you think?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm about to do a quick Google, search.
I was trying to find a word.
Search engine. Aide leaves. She was upset. Allegedly.
That's why she wear them sunglasses. She crying every day. I know that's fucked up. I know.
No. Sad truth.
I'm an asshole.
No. Not in my book.
That wasn't.
Maybe yours.
Okay.
White Trump. Okay. No.
That's the truth. They ain't no asshole.
But yeah, it was something. I have to. Let me double check that quote because I gotta find it. I should have took a screenshot, but I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Was that TMZ or that's some like?
No shit.
Insider shit. Right? They be leaking a lot of stuff in the office, man. In that White House, man.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like all it takes is something take him out of power or put him in a position where he can't actually do much, and then watch so much shit's gonna come out. Like everybody's gonna have a book deal. The secretary at the front desk is gonna have a book deal. It's
and then all of those appointees, they're gonna be fucking saying, "I held on as long as I could, but this is what I gotta say."
Everybody's gonna be like, "Fuck y'all, you lying." No, you know what? Half of them gonna go on Fox News. Watch, they'll just go right over there. They're gonna have an open. Just I don't know what the fuck you call it. They just gonna pick up everybody.
So, but they can go to MSNBC. They can go to any of them, long as they turn cold and say, "Yeah, I suffered."
Oh no, I meant hire them.
Hired. Well, that's a whole different story. Yep. But anyway, what did we miss? I think there was just so much shit going on. Wait a minute, Then you had some people that quit. You had was it the Homeland Security advisor? He quit because of Bolton.
Oh,
the Iraq war hawk who's now he's the what is his new position again? He took over McMaster. You like what you said?
Oh, National Security Advisor.
Yeah. So now Bolton, Mr. Mustache.
Wasn't was it Steve Bannon? Was he a National Security Advisor? Oh, am I getting that wrong? He's on the council.
He was just a fucking
no, he was like strategy, just a general
on your
advisor.
shoulder or some shit.
Yeah. I didn't know he was the CEO of, I think it was the CEO or president of Cambridge Analytics. He was part of that. I had no idea that. Yeah. Cambridge Analytics. Yeah. He was part of them.
Analytics.
You know what? Let me take part of that back. He was he used Cambridge Analytics. He was you know what? I'd have to do some research before. Maybe he wasn't the CEO, but that's what he used as campaign advisor.
Yeah. So this dude did everything though.
I guess that's already
known.
Went
with Fox. He promoted things on Breitbart. What at Scaramucci? Yeah, he sucks his own dick. No, he sucks his own cock. Scaramucci, the mooch. That shit was crazy. But so I think the things to look forward to, which is the most dangerous, and maybe it's maybe Putin is doing Trump a favor with this Syrian thing to keep the spotlight off the investigation. But they just jumped on his lawyer, so that jumped right back in. And it would be funny, because Chaz, I think you're making a really good point. It would be funny that the porn star will be taking him down, but not because he slept with her, but everything that surrounded it.
The way it was handled.
So it's not, it's just not her, but everything that associated that they did fraudulent all around her will cause his downfall. Because you're right. This is not going in. Now we just got to find out what's going to go on with Michael Cohen, and then whatever is in his legal documents that he's hiding from other things that's going to be open for them to investigate. We can find some illegal activity right there, and whoever's associated in that law firm and what he did for Trump could be revealed.
Right.
If it's illegal, if it's not illegal, then it's fine. But if it's illegal, they have the right to use that for prosecution.
Yeah. There was something that it was illegal about. It was something where if he was using the money to hide that information so that he can run his campaign, it was something where if those two are tied together, that was some kind of illegal. I don't know what the law was or what the ruling is, but it was something where that's where this becomes a real legal issue, where if he's hiding that money so that Trump can run and that story is hidden, and then he became president, they can use that. And that by itself is, I forget the word, if it was corroboration or if it was collusion, not collusion, because that's Russia. It was something where that by itself can indict Trump, and then you got yourself on some that's all you need is a case. You know what I'm saying? You need one case that can really get him, and then that's probably why Paul Ryan left.
So and there's plenty of stuff that can still come out, and that's not even counting the Russian collusion shit, which he can take down probably a portion of his family that was involved. So that's weird. So yeah, I got that Millennia thing. She was really, and who did it? It was John. What's his name?
John Kelly. Fired his ass.
And then they fired Kelly's ass.
So, no, Kelly's not fired yet.
No, Kelly. Oh, that's the military dude, right?
Yeah, John Kelly. Yeah. So that's just an interesting tidbit. That's all. Again, I don't know how much to read into that, but the fact that she was upset at some young dude being let go. Okay.
John McEntry.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know who the fuck John McEntee is.
They got no pictures of him and shit.
Yeah,
he's former quarterback.
That's what I was like. This nigga is a jock.
Yeah.
It's like he's a little boy, eye candy, boy toy, maybe.
You got yours, I
Yeah,
got
a
mine.
Yukon.
So she was upset. Why was she upset? You took away my only light, Donald.
Yeah, no, that makes sense now.
Yeah, you got yours. She left, and they taking away my toy. That's not right. And Kelly's smart enough to say, no, we can't have this guy keep showing up in her room, or we can't have that. Let's get rid of him.
It probably wasn't. It was probably straight up Trump. He was like, man, fuck this guy.
Yeah, man, get rid of that fucking dude. Kelly, take care.
Straight up, yeah, because he's an asshole.
Oh man,
I own that ass. I own it. I don't care about the porn stars. I own it. But
it just sounds more and more like House of Cards.
I mean, just so much we say it every week. Every time we have this, it's just unbelievable. I sat and looked at a Hitchcock movie called Strangers on the Train, and the fiance of the guy was saying, "You trying to tell me he killed your wife just by a conversation, and he went and did?" She said, "How fantastic is that?" He was like, "Yeah, I know. This is just so crazy. Like, how could this continue to be happening? All of this at the same time, one right after the other, and it's just lampooned everywhere." And it was like, and that's why people are sticking to Trump, because people like us is laughing at him. But I'm still pissed at the Democrats because I still don't think they're doing anything. I think they're gathering strength.
No,
that's the good thing.
That's a separate conversation. If I had to predict what will happen as new people win seats, that's going to shape the new coalition of what the party will be.
Which I hope.
Younger women, people who are professionals getting into politics for the first time as a response to Trump. Yeah, grassroots. So I think it's going to be the party of America. Is going to be the party that expects, but I don't expect the current leadership to stay at that point. I think at that point you would just have to say, look, you helped man the ship after the loss, which you need, but now, get the fuck out of here.
We got this here. We got
Yeah. Like right now, basically the leadership is interim until the party takes shape with the new elections.
Yeah. And which I hope so, because I think, just like they're going to shake up the Republicans, because the old conservative, party that says, no, we're spending too much money. Government is just too big. But doing the right thing to reduce the government, not just spending more money to please people to say that we're doing, less for the government or whatever. It's just, we need to do better. And the Democrats need new leadership, because what we have in place right now, it looks the same way and it sounds the same way, even though you're hearing a lot of good voices coming out from other places, but you're not getting that from the leadership.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is, just sad. But we shall see. One of the things that I think we were talking about earlier, we know in our district, in our state, who's running and what are their platforms. If we don't know that, then how do we expect, or how do we know there will be a change? You know what I mean? We don't know until you know who's running and what are their platforms, which makes things really relevant if you're going to be a participant and not an observer. And I think that's where, just because a black man was running the last time, you had a lot of participants. But this is our well-being and our security, in a sense. I mean, the way we keep fucking with Russia, our security. Do you want your security to be diminished because we're antagonizing the world? That's not good.
Yeah, really they're going to need somebody that actually gets it and can make sense of it. Whether it's your personal data, teachers, just foreign issues. It's somebody that just can make sense of it, and just that's why I think it's just going to be somebody that's almost like the opposite of Trump, which was Obama. That's just sensible, that can say, look, how about we just, pay our teachers? And everybody's like, you got to pay them. Like, how do you fight that? I mean, take the word union out of it, to not piss off the, Republicans because they hate unions for whatever reason. And, it's just, they need somebody that kind of, I don't want to say simplify it, but somebody that has answers and can actually explain it. Because a lot of people don't understand what the fuck is going on in this country.
No, they don't. And I'm not going to claim to know it all either. You know what I mean?
No one actually does. That's the thing. No. When the president doesn't have all the answers, but they can at least shape what that perspective is, or what our view is, what our future is. At least bring in the right people around you. Like it's a whole process. It's pretty much what you would expect a leader to do. You surround yourself by people that actually understand.
Yeah. True leadership.
Yeah, a true leader. That's smart. That's intelligent.
Absolutely.
The right smart.
What we assume to be true. So, anything else, guys? Did we miss anything? I know we filled it up. Right. But got anything? Last words, Trish?
No, I gotta wake up early, so I'm I gotta do laundry. I gotta be an adult. So
adult day. Yeah,
I gotta be an adult. So unfortunately, I will say this: strippers are important.
Strippers are important. Part of our economy. Strippers are people too. Yeah. Let it be known.
True story.
Just in case people forgot.
Facts.
Yeah.
What you got, E?
Nah, shit. It's just
the ball to
wait for the next story. It's like every time we we jump on the podcast, it's just some unbelievable shit. It's
unbelievable. Yep.
We can't even guess what it is. That's what crazy. It should be like, they're gonna go to the Syria thing's gonna be blah blah blah, and then they're gonna the North Korea thing, even though it's probably sometime in May or whatever. I don't know. But
you never know when that's going to come back around. But
scandal after scandal, man. It's just,
But that's it. Rethink politics, folks. We got to do it every week because you never know what's going to drop. And if you know what's going to drop, let us know. Leave us some comments. We're on iTunes, Repo, Rethink Politics, or bougieblackbrother.com. Under Repo. Check us out. All podcasts, you can find us anywhere on all of those. Again, go ahead.
Yeah, and make sure you like the podcast too. That helps out with the rankings of the podcast. So.
Oh, absolutely.
No, leave a like, motherfucker.
Thanks.
Please.
Don't mind the man behind the curtain. Girl.
He's trying to say I'm not client friendly. Fuck it. Yeah,
no. But thanks for the comments, conversation, and we'll see you next time on Repo Rethink Politics. Peace.